There's a war happening right now, not between the rich and the poor, but between a man and his own mind. Because money doesn't begin with a number in your bank account. It begins with a thought, a structure of belief. The quiet choices you make when no one's watching, between movement and avoidance, between clarity and confusion, between strength and comfort. You've been told to work harder, move faster, think bigger. But no one ever taught you how to train your mind to become a magnet for wealth. This is that training. And if you're tired of trying everything and still feeling stuck, if you've been running but not moving, if something in you has whispered, there has to be a different way, then stay. Because in this video, you'll discover 7 inner commandments, not hacks, not hype, but principles. They're rarely taught, almost never spoken, but they have the power to completely reshape how you think, act, lead, and live. Each one is a pivot, not toward chasing more, but toward becoming more, not about controlling the world, but mastering the man who faces it. And if even one sentence here has struck something real in you, hit the like button right now. Comment below. I'm ready to build from within. That's not for the algorithm. That's a declaration to yourself. That from this moment on, you're not just watching, you're transforming. So, are you ready? Because this isn't a video you watch to learn more. It's a video you follow to become the man wealth can no longer ignore. Commandment beer. Don't chase wealth. Become the man it can't ignore. Most people think the key to wealth is speed. Move fast. Chase harder. Get there first. Outwork, out-hustle, out everyone. But the truth is, most men who chase money die broke inside. Not just in their bank account, but in their spirit, because they spend their lives sprinting after something that's designed to move away from desperation. Money doesn't follow effort. It follows energy, and energy is identity. You can read every finance book, memorize every tactic, but if your mindset screams scarcity, the world will respond accordingly. Because wealth isn't logical, it's psychological. It doesn't go where effort is loud. It goes where alignment is quiet. And the man who builds that alignment doesn't chase anything. He becomes the gravity that pulls opportunity toward him. That's the mistake most men make. They chase like beggars. They obsess over followers, over side hustles, over quick returns. They want the image of success more than the inner infrastructure to sustain it. So they collapse. Quietly, after the 10x fades and motivation runs out, they're left with nothing but noise inside, and a life that never really moved. Here's what no one tells you. Wealth doesn't want to be chased. It wants to be claimed, and only by a man who's built the internal architecture strong enough to hold it. That means no longer identifying as the guy who's trying. No longer looking outside yourself for permission, direction, or applause. That means stepping into the version of you that wealth would trust with responsibility, with legacy, with power. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This isn't philosophy, it's law. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And if your thoughts are inconsistent, your emotions reactive, your days chaotic, then wealth sees you the same way. Unstable, unsafe, not ready. But the man who wakes with clarity, who moves with intention, who speaks only when necessary, he sends a different message. His presence tells the world, I don't need more. I'm becoming more. That energy is rare. It's magnetic. And wealth, like anything of value, gravitates toward what's rare. So the shift is simple, but brutal. Stop chasing. Start transforming. Trade the pursuit for preparation. Swap grind for groundedness. Learn to become the man who builds a mind so disciplined, so certain, so well aligned with purpose, that money becomes a side effect, not a god. You've met him before. The man who doesn't talk much, but everyone listens when he does. The one who seems unfazed by urgency, but always on time. He's not rich because he's lucky. He's rich because he refused to rush his becoming. He understood the game early. Wealth isn't a reward. It's a reflection. So ask yourself the harder question. Not, how do I make more money? But who do I have to become so that money would feel honored to land in my hands? Because here's the truth. The more you chase it, the more you admit it hasn't chosen you yet. But the moment you become the man, it can't ignore. The man with vision, restraint, silence, structure. The chase ends. And gravity begins. Let everyone else sprint. You build. Quietly. Daily. Without applause. Until the life you once ran toward starts orbiting around you. That's not magic. That's alignment. And alignment is never rushed. It's earned. Commandment 2, clarity, is the beginning of power. You don't need more time. You need more clarity in the time you already have. You see, most men aren't losing because they're lazy. They're losing because they're foggy. They wake up with ambition but no direction. They try everything, but finish nothing. They want results, but chase them in 6 different directions, wondering why none of them lead anywhere. And the worst part? The world rewards the noise, the constant movement, the busy chaos that makes you look like you're grinding, even when you're drifting. But the man who wins, truly wins, isn't the one who moves fastest. It's the one who moves straightest, because movement without clarity is just exhaustion disguised as progress. And when you're exhausted, you become reactive. You jump on trends, switch strategies, drown in distractions. While the life you want gets pushed further away by the fog, you refuse to clear. Here's the truth. You can't build wealth in confusion. You can't invest, lead, create, or scale when your mind is split between doubt, pressure, and unfinished plans. That's why clarity isn't a luxury. It's a weapon, a razor, a compass that cuts through chaos and points to power. Frank Lloyd Wright, one of the most iconic architects in American history, once stood in front of a group of skeptics who laughed at his idea to build a house over a waterfall. They said it was impossible, dangerous, unrealistic. But he didn't argue. He just smiled, pulled out a sketch, and said, "It's already built in my mind. Now, I just need to materialize it." No, that's clarity. Not wishful thinking, not vaga goals, but a fully formed structure in the mind before the first brick ever touches the ground. Ask yourself, can you describe in detail the life you say you want? What it looks like when you wake up, how it feels when you move, what kind of man you have to be to live it. If the answer is vague, then you're not building yet. You're still daydreaming, and daydreams are the graveyards of potential. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That means your mind is the canvas, and clarity is the brush. Without it, your days blur together. Your actions lose force. Your identity dissolves into randomness. So stop saying, someday. Stop waiting for more time, more motivation, more certainty. Get clear. Right now. Define the target with ruthless precision. Not, I want to be rich, but how rich, by when, doing what, living where, serving who, until your vision is so sharp it feels real. Like muscle memory. Because once your subconscious accepts the image, your behaviors will begin to shift to match it. Your standards will rise, your distractions will fall away, and your energy will go where it belongs, forward. This is what separates the powerful from the overwhelmed, the decisive from the indecisive, the builder from the busybody. It's not effort, it's clarity of aim. The man who knows where he's going doesn't need to move fast. He just needs to move, with no doubt. So if you feel stuck, it's not because you're broken, it's because your vision is blurred. Wipe the lens. Name the mission. See it so clearly that the world has no choice but to rearrange around it. Because in the end, clarity isn't just mental, it's magnetic. And a mind that's clear becomes a life that's inevitable. Commandment 3. Train the mind like a warrior. Discipline is your fortune. Every strong man I know starts his day in silence. Not because it's trendy, not because it's easy, but because in that silence they train for war. Not the kind with bullets, the kind with distraction, with temptation, with the quiet seduction of comfort that pulls average men back to average lives. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't check their mood. They move. Because discipline isn't something they use, it's something they've become. Most men are trapped in a loop. They want power, but refuse structure. They want results, but depend on feelings. They crave freedom, but reject the price, which is discipline. Not once, not sometimes, but daily, quietly, relentlessly. The truth is, your mind is either being trained or being tamed. It's either your general or your greatest liability. And the way you treat your discipline reveals which it is, because wealth doesn't flow to the man who wants it most. It flows to the man who proves he can be trusted with it. Even when no one's watching. Jocko Willink, formé Navy SEAL commandeur, author, entrepreneur, didn't build his empire by chasing motivation. He built it by eliminating negotiation. 4:30 a.m. Wake-ups. Daily training. Tactical decisions made not by mood, but by mission. He understood the real enemy wasn't out there. It was within. The voice that says, "Sleep in. You've done enough. It doesn't matter." That voice lives in every man. And the only way to defeat it is discipline. That's what Stoicism teaches. The enemy isn't external. It's your lack of command over yourself. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That means discipline isn't punishment. It's proof. Proof that you respect your time. Proof that your word means something. Proof that you're worthy of the freedom you keep saying you want. Because wealth amplifies what already exists. If you're scattered, it accelerates your destruction. But if you're trained, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then every dollar becomes a tool, not a toxin. You want to build a fortune? Start by building rituals, not complex ones. Simple ones, brutally consistent. Wake up when you say, do the work even when it's dull. Push the reps even when no one's counting. Read instead of scroll. Fast instead of indulge. Finish what you start, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. This is how powerful men are forged. In repetition, in restraint, in the decision to honor process over pleasure. Because once discipline becomes your default, you become dangerous. Not reckless, not aggressive, but steady, focused, unshakable. And that's the man wealth can't resist. So, if you're tired of watching your potential leak through excuses, tired of starting over, Tired of feeling like you're always preparing but never arriving? Decide not to feel better, not to look better, but to be better, day by day, breath by breath, brick by brick. Discipline isn't about waking up early. It's about not abandoning yourself when it would be easier to. It's about keeping the promise you made to yourself in the dark, even when the light never comes. Train the mind like a warrior, because once your habits are stronger than your impulses, your fortune is no longer a question. It's inevitable. Commandment dirt. Ask better questions. Build bigger outcomes. No one tells you this, but the most powerful shifts in a man's life don't come from motivation. They come from a better question. Not more energy, not more time, but a sharper lens turned inward. Most men wake up asking, "What do I need to get through today?" But the man who evolves, the one who outgrows mediocrity, asks something else entirely. Who do I need to become to outpace every version of myself that's kept me small? That one shift changes the architecture of his mind, the logic of his decisions, the rhythm of his day, and eventually the results he gets to live in. Because your mind is not a storage unit, it's a search engine. Ask weak questions, you get weak outcomes. Ask better ones, and your subconscious begins scanning for doors you didn't know existed. Soichiro Honda didn't ask, "How do I rebuild after the war?" He asked, "How do I create something the world has never seen?" From nothing but rubble, vision, and grit. That question didn't give him a plan. It gave him permission. Permission to expand, not because he had the answers, but because he had the right question burning in his chest. And I remember a man named Daniel, a high-performing executive I once worked with, stuck in a job that drained him, making 6 figures but feeling bankrupt inside. He kept saying, "Someday, I'll quit and start something of my own." But then, one day, someone asked him, "What if the version of you who owns your dream business already exists, but he's buried beneath years of delay?" That one question didn't just challenge his fears, it rearranged them. Within 90 days, Daniel drafted a clean exit, reframed his financial plan, and launched a consulting firm that tripled his previous income, not because the world changed, but because the question changed. And he did too. That's what most men miss. We're not stuck because we lack answers. We're stuck because we keep asking the same small questions. Can I afford it? What if I fail? What's the risk? But powerful men don't ask permission. They ask possibilities. They ask, what scalable value can I build instead of just reacting to life? What would the strongest version of me decide right now? What is this moment trying to teach me? And who do I have to become to own the lesson fully? As Seneca wrote, it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And the greatest waste isn't time. It's awareness. It's asking the wrong question so many times that the right one feels foreign. A better question doesn't just clarify. It breaks walls. It reveals blind spots. It doesn't ask, what's realistic? It asks, what's possible? If I stopped living like I'm already defeated. So here's your invitation. Don't wait for the next plan. Sit with the next question. Not the comfortable one, but the one that makes you flinch. The one you've been avoiding because you already know it. Leads to change. Write it. Speak it. Live inside it. Until it stretches you into someone unrecognizable to your past self. Because the man who masters answers gets results, but the man who dares to master questions, he becomes impossible to ignore. His thoughts scale, his actions multiply, and his life expands in direct proportion to the depth of what he's willing to ask. So ask better, ask bigger, And when the world hesitates, keep moving, because the man who questions everything will eventually reshape anything, including himself, including his wealth, including the life he once thought was out of reach. Commandment besh, don't show off, show up. Sometimes, strength looks like walking into a room and saying nothing, not because you have nothing to prove, but because you've already proven it to yourself. In today's world, everyone is performing, broadcasting, boasting. Men flood timelines with filtered wins, motivational captions, and rented status. But the ones who truly move the needle, they move in silence, not out of fear, but out of mastery, because real wealth, inner or outer, doesn't need attention. It needs alignment. And when you're aligned, you don't have to say much. Your presence handles the talking. Your body language speaks louder than any caption. Your restraint becomes your credibility. Stoic philosophy has always taught this. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Why? Because men of principle don't argue about values. They live them. They don't flash their progress. They carry it in the way they stand, breathe, decide. Angela Merkel, arguably the most powerful leader in Europe for over a decade, wasn't loud. She didn't need charisma to command. She led through presence, precision, quiet conviction. While others performed, she governed. While others postured, she strategized. Her silence wasn't absence. It was control. That's the energy you must adopt if you want wealth to respect you. Don't announce your plans. Build them. Don't explain your worth. Become it. Don't perform your ambition. Practice it where no one's clapping. Because the moment you start needing eyes on you to validate your movement, you're no longer leading, you're dancing for approval. And wealth never follows performers. It follows architects, quiet builders, men who can be trusted with responsibility, not just recognition. You want to command respect? Then stop trying to be impressive. Just be immovable. Show up, not with noise, but with consistency. Every day, early, undistracted, unbothered, focused on results, not applause. Because here's the paradox: the more silent your discipline, the louder your impact. Let others broadcast their grind. You stack the work in silence. Let them flex their wins. You stack habits that never lose. Let them chase trends. You study timelessness. Stoic men understand this deeply. Power never begs to be seen. It radiates through stillness, through control under pressure, through walking into chaos and not flinching. So the next time you feel the urge to explain, to post, to perform, pause. Ask yourself, do I need them to see this, or am I just uncomfortable holding it alone? If your actions are true, they don't need decoration. They don't need captions. They don't even need witnesses. They just need consistency. Because wealth isn't earned by the man who shouts the loudest. It's earned by the one who keeps showing up, long after the audience has left. So don't show off. Show up, every day. Without fanfare, without noise, with relentless quiet, until the world stops asking who you are, because your results already answered. Commandment 6. Use solitude to recalibrate. At some point, every man will wake up and realize he's surrounded, yet alone. He's followed by likes, texts, group chats, yet feels unseen. He's got meetings on the calendar and noise in his ears, but no clarity in his mind. That moment is a reckoning, not a breakdown, a recalibration waiting to happen. Most men run from it. They turn up the volume. Another podcast, another reel, another dopamine loop of distractions. But the men who rise, the ones who build unshakable clarity, who become magnets for wealth and purpose, they do something different. They walk straight into the solitude, and they make it sacred, because solitude isn't isolation. It's restoration. It's the gym for your thoughts, the forge for your beliefs. It's the quiet space where boys run, but men rebuild. Stoic thinkers knew this well. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who carried the weight of Rome, still carved space daily for inner retreat. In his meditations, he wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." He didn't escape to recharge. He descended inward, because that's where alignment begins, where identity isn't echoed by others, but examined by self. Katherine Johnson, the mathematical mind behind NASA's historic moon landing, wasn't praised in her time. She wasn't even acknowledged in the rooms where she changed history, but she didn't need noise. In solitude, sharpened by focus, undisturbed by praise, she built calculations so accurate they carried mankind beyond Earth. Her silence was power. Her solitude was her edge. And that edge is available to you right now, but you won't find it scrolling, or talking, or reacting to everyone who expects a piece of your time. You find it when you strip the world away, sit with the raw version of yourself, and ask, what am I building, and am I still the man who's aligned with it? That's why solitude isn't weakness. It's warrior, maintenance. It's where the mind reboots, where the heart regains its rhythm, where strategy replaces stress. The man who honors it becomes sharper, calmer, less rattled by noise, less seduced by chaos. Most people fear being alone because they haven't built a mind they enjoy being inside of. That's not a curse. That's a signal, an invitation to start, to turn off the noise, not as a punishment, but as an act of inner leadership. Use solitude like a soldier uses his downtime, not to escape, but to prepare. Journal, walk without music, sit in silence. Not to force answers, but to hear what your life's been trying to say without your interference. Because when you start listening, not just to the world, but to you, the next right move doesn't come from panic. It comes from peace. And the man who moves from peace is nearly impossible to stop. So no, you don't need another podcast or more advice. You need 15 silent minutes with your own mind, every day, without apology, without distraction, without filling the void with noise that never moved you forward. Because clarity isn't found. It's built, and it's built in silence. Use solitude. Don't fear it. Don't run from it. Protect it like your future depends on it. Because it does. Commandment yedi. Failure is not feedback. It is fuel. I once knew someone who failed 5,126 times before the world paid attention. 5,126 prototypes. Rejected, dismissed, laughed at. His friends called him obsessed. His wife worried he'd lost himself. Investors walked away. And still, he showed up, alone, in his garage, with no applause, no certainty, just the quiet conviction that he was building something that would outlast the laughter. That man's name is James Dyson. The world now knows him for innovation. But what they never saw was what made him dangerous, his relationship with failure. While others saw it as rejection, he saw it as refinement, data, direction, proof that he was still in motion. That's the final wealth commandment. Change how you process failure, and you'll change how you process life. Most men fear failure, like death. They treat it like a verdict, a sign they're not good enough, smart enough, chosen enough, so they avoid risk. They hide behind certainty. They dip their toe in the water, but never wade deep enough to discover who they really are. But Stoic men, we don't flinch. We fail forward. We fail deliberately. We understand what Epictetus meant when he said, "Difficulties show men what they are." Failure doesn't define you, but it does reveal you. It tells the truth about your foundation. And more importantly, it gives you the blueprint to rebuild better, because wealth, real, unshakable wealth, isn't built by men who avoid failure. It's built by those who learn how to transmute it into momentum, who can look at a collapsed deal, a missed opportunity, a brutal mistake, and say, "Good, now I know what to fix." End of 4. Let me be clear. This isn't about glamorizing pain. Pain sucks. Rejection stings. Setbacks will strip you down. But if you let it, that stripping, it's surgical. It cuts off the fat, the ego, the laziness, the illusion that it was supposed to be easy. Every time you get knocked down, you have one of two options. Let it define you, or let it refine you. There's a reason diamonds are born under pressure. Steel is hardened in fire. And men, real men, are built not in comfort, but in collapse. So the next time you fail, don't spiral, don't whine, don't run to distraction. Study it, deconstruct it, thank it, because failure is the most honest coach you'll ever have. It doesn't flatter, it doesn't sugarcoat, but it always delivers the lesson. If your ego is quiet enough to hear it, you want to be rich, be unafraid of looking stupid. You want to build legacy, be willing to be underestimated. You want to be unstoppable? Let failure break your plans, but never your identity. Because the man who keeps walking, through embarrassment, through silence, through nights where nothing clicks, is the man the world eventually can't look away from. So fail, boldly, often, silently, but never bitterly. You weren't built to be protected. You were built to be forged. And fire only hurts what wasn't real to begin with. You've heard the 7, not rules, not hacks, but internal laws. These aren't meant to be followed like trends. They're meant to be absorbed, lived, and carried in silence. Because this journey was never about chasing riches or displaying status, it was about returning to the man underneath all the noise. The man who doesn't perform, but prepares, who doesn't seek applause, but alignment, who no longer asks the world for permission because his inner command already gave him the green light. Each commandment was a mirror, and maybe, just maybe, you saw a reflection of a version of yourself that felt quieter, more grounded, less reactive, more certain. A man not moved by chaos, but rooted in clarity. A man who no longer chases wealth, but becomes someone it moves toward, naturally, effortlessly, and without resistance. Because at the end of the day, no one is coming to reward your effort. No one is going to hand you recognition for the choices you make when no one is watching. And yet, that's exactly where it happens. Not in noise, but in nuance. Not in appearance, but in integrity. Not in proving, but in becoming. The man you're building in the dark is watching, and whether he emerges fractured or forged, that's on you. So walk forward, not with volume, but with depth, not with urgency, but with purpose. And above all, carry this truth not as a quote, but as a code. I don't chase wealth. I become the man it can't ignore. No. And if that truth struck something inside you, if it felt like coming home to a version of yourself you haven't seen in a while, then stay with us. Like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content built for men who are done chasing and ready to lead quietly, decisively, and without compromise. Because this isn't a trend. It's a transformation, and it starts where no one else is looking. Inside.